and welcome back to Las Vegas for the Dice Tower's coverage of the GAMA Trade Show 2017. I'm Eric Summerer, here with one of my favorite mad geniuses of board gaming, Andy Looney.
Hi there.
From Looney Labs. You have a whole pile of stuff to show us.
I do.
Where should we begin?
Well, I just have to start with Pyramid Arcade because Pyramid Arcade is the greatest thing I've ever made, and I'm so proud of it, and I could spend hours and hours talking about it, but I at least have to give an introduction.
You have to show it off.
And it is the newest thing. Well, mostly the newest thing is out. It came out in November.
Yes.
Although it is the culmination of more than 20 years of work and various versions of the game that have gone into this. But this is an incredible box set with 22 different games and everything you need to play all of them, which all use these beautiful gaming pyramids that we've been developing and playing games with for such a long time. They come in 3 sizes and 10 colors, and you get 90 of them in this box. And now they come with a beautiful tray that's just fun to even put them away.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, you get all the other equipment you need for all 22 of those games. And we're talking a huge range of different types of games. Easy games, complicated games, strategy games, luck games. There's even a dexterity game in here. And I just could not be more proud of it. It comes with a comprehensive rule book with details on all of the different games and even ideas for inventing your own games.
Nice.
And yet further games that you can look up rules for on the internet. There is so much value and fun packed into this. It comes with 3 different decks of cards, including one that is a selector set that has details on each of the different games, because sometimes the hardest part is deciding which of these games you want to play.
Right.
You're walking around the arcade going, they all look fun. Which one should I put my quarter in?
Exactly.
So here, this helps you decide that. You can kind of narrow it down based on, well, we only have 2 players, so take out all the games that aren't for 2 players.
Right.
And then that might give you a pile, and then you could say, well, let's just play all of them in turn, or let fate decide. We'll play this game next. And so you get all kinds of other stuff. Little boards, big boards, these beautiful plastic boards, a double-sided board for 2 other games in there.
Wow.
9 different dice. Even a Starship Captain sticker for when you're, because a Starship Captain is our name for someone who knows 10 or more of these games. So we assume you'll meet that by the time you get through the game.
You can then recognize other Pyramid Arcade aficionados by spotting the sticker.
Well, and the whole idea with the Starship Captain thing is that 2 Starship Captains, when they meet, can say, well, what game do you want to play with the pyramids? And they'll have a list of their favorites. And they can say, well, I want to play Homeworlds, and then that's the one they'll play. That's my personal favorite. That would be the one you choose. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. Even a beautiful little turn token there.
Wow.
There's so much goodness in this set. It's incredible.
This is a box of fun right here.
It is. This box will keep you entertained forever.
Wow.
So I could carry on about this set
but you have other
for
things,
a long, long time, but there's other things to talk about.
There's so many things to discuss.
There's so many other things coming along the line. So, of course, we're the Fluxx people.
Yes.
That's our biggest claim to fame and our biggest hit. Just yesterday, I guess, or a couple days ago, we brought out Math Fluxx.
Yes, I had a chance to play this one. This is
How'd
a
you
good
like
time.
it?
I liked it. I like the so the part of the idea is that the keepers are numbers.
Right, exactly. So you have numbers.
Trying to get combinations of numbers to achieve the goals. But if you have certain meta, what is it, the operations cards out, you may be able to add those numbers or multiply those numbers or divide
So you might have the combo victory that allows you to win by multiplying or dividing or whatever the numbers you have. And what's really interesting is that there are some meta rules that you can play with that will mean that you could always win with that kind of a goal, or even that you have to win by doing it that way.
Okay.
Plan C, we call it.
Yeah. Ooh.
So it really amps up the math, if you will.
Yeah.
There it is, Plan C. That requires the only way to win is by achieving it through a mathematical combination. And then if you achieve the goal in the traditional way by just putting the 2 numbers together, you discard the goal and draw 3 cards. So you get a benefit for meeting the goal in the usual way, but to actually win, you have to use math.
And as usual, they're very clever goals. I always appreciate the way that some of these numbers.
Yeah.
You got Golden Anniversary, which is pretty strastraightforward. Yin Yang.
This is one of my favorites. The speed of time travel.
Is.
There's some fun ones too, like lowest score. If your numbers add up to the lowest number compared to anyone else, you win. And there's one that you win if you can make your number match your birthday.
Oh.
Or your age rather, or maybe it's both of them. No, it's your birthday or the current date.
Ah.
So what's the date? It's the 14th. So if the current date goal was up, then you'd have to have 1 and a 4 to win.
Nice.
Or a 2 and a 7, for example. So yeah, Math Fluxx just came out.
That's available now.
Available now, just in time for Pi Day, which it is, of course.
We were just discussing that earlier today.
So that you could go to your game store tonight and play that.
So I've actually seen the flyer. You're making a focus toward educational games.
That's
recently.
True. Yeah, that's true. Well, Math Fluxx totally fits that bill.
Yeah.
And the next one in our line is going to be Chemistry Fluxx.
Aha.
And Chemistry Fluxx is coming out in May. And this one too is very much educational, but it just fits perfectly because you'll have cards that are well, helium doesn't go with anything, but hydrogen and oxygen make water. So
sure.
So if you have those two things, and then
one
the goal
could be water.
Exactly so. So another great one was NaCl, salt, of course. And these are some of my favorite ones because they are a simple compound of two elements that form together for something we use every day, like salt or water. Some of the other ones are a little more complicated. There's a bunch of goals that require three things in this game.
Explosion.
Well, people wanted that. There's your water goal.
Yep.
But yeah, this is
pyrite.
I was able to figure out most of this on my own with my high school chemistry knowledge and the internet. But I did have a couple of chemists go through this and
just make sure that things
give me some suggestions
kosher,
and focus on some accuracy there. So Chemistry Fluxx is coming out.
I could see playing that in high school chemistry class. That would
exactly.
be fun.
So yeah, people have said for a long time that our games are educational, but we haven't really had games that feel as much that way as we do now. I mean, Chrononauts is a great history lesson in a box, and Nature Fluxx is a bit education on that way, but here with Math and Chemistry Fluxx, it's really pushing the educational element. And also, I didn't bring my prototype, but this summer we're bringing back our storytelling game Nanofictionary, which is going to be great for English classes and so forth as well.
But sometimes with Fluxx, you're done with learning and it's time to just have some fun.
You're absolutely right. And in fact, we have something that people have been asking for a long time, finally coming out. In July, Fluxx will turn 21 years of age, and therefore we're finally bringing out the long-awaited Drinking Fluxx. That's right. And this is a fantastic drinking game. I made a study of other drinking games and tried to pull in a lot of the things that make other drinking games notable. A couple of my favorite rules here are the required word rules and the forbidden word. So if you say a certain word, you have to take a drink. There are drinking rules that set forth at the beginning that say, I don't have this sorted well enough for this demo, but the drinking rules require that everybody have their own drink. And you don't have to drink alcohol. You can just drink water or soda, whatever you like. But you do have to have something so you can be imbibing when you are called upon to do so. So there are the drinking rules that spell all that out. But we have a number of things saying, like here's a thing pointing out, you don't have to drink alcohol to drink. In fact, it's fun, like it says, it's cool to use fancy glasses. Like just put your soda in a wine glass.
There you go.
Participate with everybody else. So I'm not actually a drinker myself. So I very much wanted this to be something that the non-drinkers could play along with the drinkers and have fun with it. And it is a hoot. As I say, we've been playtesting it for years. Oh, required word, that's the other one. We actually have two different versions of this, required prefix and required suffix.
Oh boy.
So you have to either end the word, every sentence you end has to be using the required suffix or prefix. A couple of popular ones are dude. That ends up, required word of dude is a good one.
Yes.
Forbidden word, draw or play. Those are ones that get people a lot. I like, as a prefix, I like actually. You start off here. Actually,
it just adds to the conversation, really.
Oh, well, now I have to drink because turn is another
turn is a forbidden word.
And there's a card in here that lets you change up. So when somebody plays one of these rules, they get to decide what the required or forbidden word is.
Right.
But during the game, somebody might play a card called New Vocabulary that says, okay, now these are the required words.
And you're changing all the required words and stuff. Oh, boy.
And another fun thing to do is to pick something that was the forbidden word, the required word, and then make it the forbidden word. Because you've gotten so used to saying it. I end the sentence with dude every time, and then now I can't
you can't say dude. Okay.
Like I say, for years actually, we've been playtesting this, and it does get you pretty drunk. Okay. Because there's a lot of reasons why you might have to drink in this game. So we're trying to be responsible, as I say, with
it's sort of a disclaimer on the basic
and in fact,
rule
there's
card.
one card too that says switch to water, which says if anybody feels that somebody's had one too many, they are compelled to switch to drinking water from that point.
There you go.
Because my biggest fear is that somebody will
you don't want
hurt
anybody to get hurt
by drinking. And of course, we're all about fun. We don't want that to happen. So.
But once you have everybody nice and tipsy with this adult version of Fluxx, you have another adult version.
Indeed we do.
On the horizon as well.
We brought out a MadLibs game last year, and that's done very, very well for us, in conjunction with MadLibs. In fact, they approached us and said, we hear you do good games.
Yeah.
How about doing a MadLibs game? And I said, you're on. And we brought out MadLibs. And the MadLibs basic game is very family-friendly and welcoming. And our new Adult MadLibs is also, we don't want to be offensive.
Okay. So
we're trying to be very adult and sort of titillating, if you will, but not rude and insulting. So that's one of our watchwords with this. But so MadLibs, Adult MadLibs will be coming out, gosh, I don't have the exact date. I think it's in June maybe.
Okay.
But this is very much like the original one, where we have story cards that have blanks that we're filling in with options from our word card bank, and then the words will have we'll have a kind of base word, and then all the different ways that they can be turned into a noun or a verb or an adjective or an adverb listed on the card. So everybody will be choosing from their hand of 7 cards to fill in the blanks that they think will be the funniest. And everybody then votes for the one they think is funniest. You can't vote for your own, and whoever's story solutions get the best laughs, they then win a point, and they keep that point until they have 3 points.
So it's the same system as MadLibs the game.
Absolutely.
It's just the vocabulary is maybe a little more sly and
a little more risque.
naughty.
But even there, we tried not to be
not overt.
Exactly. Suggestive is the way, the watch.
You have to use the creativity to be suggestive.
Exactly, exactly. So, and I want to give a shout out to Jeremy Holcomb and his team on this one. I designed the basic game of MadLibs, and then because once you have the structure worked out, kind of anybody could come up with, well, not necessarily anybody, but creative people could come up with various different options for the words and the sentences. And Jeremy Holcomb's a game designer, and he and a team of some of his interns actually are the ones who came up with most of the words and sentences on this. So we're getting big enough that we're actually starting to have other people help out with some of these design things instead of doing it all myself, which is how it's been for so long.
Now, one more classic I really want to get to is Zendo.
Yes.
And you have a new version of this.
So, again, Pyramid Arcade just came out, and the Pyramids are one of the most popular games for the Pyramids is Zendo.
Yeah.
And some will wonder, why is Zendo not in this box set? And it's mentioned in the book as a game you can play if you get more pyramids. But the fact of the matter is, the Pyramid Arcade is optimized around games that use fewer pyramids of each color and plenty of colors.
Right.
Whereas for Zendo, what you really want is not very many colors and plenty of pieces of each of those colors.
Right.
So because it's not really optimal for that set, and because we also wanted to do something more special with it, which I'll get to, for all those reasons, we kind of held Zendo out of the arcade. And next year, we're going to be bringing out a brand new standalone Zendo set. And what makes it special and interesting...
What makes it special and interesting?
Funny you should ask. What makes it special and interesting is that it doesn't just use pyramids. It will use pyramids, but it will also use 2 other shapes, blocks and wedges.
Ooh.
And so the pyramid and the block are kind of like the wedge kind of fits in between those two in this kind of morphing, if you will.
Sure.
And the wedge has some interesting properties that it points kind of like pyramids do, but it's like a block as well. And there's just all sorts of interesting new things you can build with the blocks and the pyramids that you couldn't have done with just pyramids alone. One of my favorite little structures is, of course, the Stonehenge Trilithon, and you can make some pretty neato little tower sort of things out of the wedges.
The general concept is still the same, though. You're creating a rule. creating a rule and then making examples of that rule that either follow it or don't follow it, and the other players are trying to guess.
Yep. So one player will be the instructor, the puzzle master, as I think we're currently calling it.
Okay.
And they will set up 2 structures. Well, why don't we just play a little game here? I think we still got.
We only have a couple minutes.
Well, we may not get through it, but I'll set it up. One of the other things that this set is also great about is that it's going to have a bunch of starter cards, a huge library of starter cards, which have a pseudo limited structure. In that each one will have sort of several different options. So the puzzle master will lock in one of those, and then that's what it is for the whole time. So they might say, I'm going to require that each cluster, actually I think we're calling them structures.
Structures, not Cohen's.
Yeah. Well, a cluster was another thing, but I think structure is actually what we're going to. The naming of things. One of the things that's also different about this is that we're pulling out the Zen Buddhism theme that was there before, and we just want it to be sort of pure, simple, what the game is, rather than any theme baggage, because it really doesn't need it, and it can be a little misleading about what the game really is. So the puzzle master will create a. So let me get one that you haven't seen. That's also they have a rating, so the dots indicate how difficulty. 3 dots is pretty hard, 2 dots is medium, and 1 dot is easy. So you can sort of pull out just a bunch of the ones that are easy for quick gaming. And let me just pick one here that. Okay, this will be the rule. So I will create 3.
I don't know if we have time to do 3.
No, I mean not 3. I'm getting ahead of myself. Each of my structures is going to have 3 pieces.
Okay. Yes.
So one of them might look like that, and the other one would look like this.
Okay.
And then one of them will get a black stone, and one gets a white stone.
Black means.
And the black means it is following the rule, and not following the rule.
Right.
White is following the rule, black is not following the rule.
Okay.
So you then on your turn, you're going to build your own little
I might think, well, I think the rule has something to do with the fact that they're all the same shape. So I'll pick 3 things that are all orange and make it look like that and say, how's that?
Well, I would point out those are not all the same shape, because you've got 2 pyramids and 1 wedge.
Well, I'm hoping to disprove the rule that I thought it might be.
I see. Well, all right then. In that case, now you would also then have the option of saying, just tell me the answer, or let's ask a question, a quiz about, in which case all players try to predict what the answer is going to be. But since this is not a real game, I'll just go ahead and tell you that in fact gets a black stone.
So that did not follow the rule. So it's not all pieces are orange.
It's not all pieces are
the same.
Well, those aren't all the same.
Right.
You've got 2 kinds of one shape and one of the other. This has all the same.
So if I had...
But this one also, has a piece on top of 2 of the others.
There's a whole bunch of different things.
So maybe it's about having a piece on top of another.
Right.
And so you'll be building these various clusters along with everyone else until someone is sure they know the answer, and they take a stab at guessing what the rule is by spending one of their guessing stones. And if they're right, they win the game. And then they get to be the puzzle master.
See, now I need to know, what was it?
Well, it was in fact only one size. And see, though, in this case, I will look at it and say I'm going to lock in on the blocks, and they have to have only blocks. So even here, even if you had said that, it would still get a black stone, because in this case, it's not just all the same shape, but
if I had
a
done
particular
this,
shape. That would get a white stone.
That would have been correct.
Yep. And so you get to, it's what we call inductive logic, because you're looking at the evidence to try to inductively deduce what the rule is.
Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Andy Looney from Looney Labs, lots of fun stuff. I'm really looking forward to the new Zendo.
This will be coming out in 2018. And by the way, these are just 3D printed test pieces. The real ones will be clear plastic in
colors.
They'll look more
like the pyramids.
Like the pyramids, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.